On January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump became the 45th president. In doing so, he nominated his pick for the head of Secretary of Education. After many confirmation hearings, protests, and more, Betsy DeVos was confirmed for the job. As the billionaire was sworn in, what does that look like for the future of public schools? Instead of asking the politicians in Washington, I sat down with the people who are at the forefront of public education to hear their thoughts on current and future standings of the system.
What public education is all about is giving kids who may not come from, even a middle-income environment, the same quality education the kids who were 10 miles up the road were getting.
I think education is important for everyone. Obviously, we wouldn't have the intellectual capacities that we do without it.
I think people are trying to reduce education to a commodity, and it's not. It is far more complex.
To me, public education is important because it's the standard that our country sets for its education and how it invests in its youth.
I believe everybody has the right to an education. I think it's the sort of level playing field for all people. I feel like it's something that our country was founded on.
Every student needs that opportunity to be educated, and not everyone has the financial fortitude to go to a private school or to move around to where they see a better educational opportunity.
I had such a strong public education in Detroit public schools that I was able to accomplish my goals.
With the election of Trump, I feel like we're moving away from something that feels like it's the right thing to do. I feel like public schools are the right way to go, and with him, I don't think he's moving in that direction.
Anyone in government who emphasizes going away from public education, generally their interest is more in giving special opportunities to a select few rather than trying to better education for everybody.
Public education has been sort of a scapegoat for what's going wrong in our country, while coincidentally, at the same time, funding for public education has been drained.
I'm very adamant about not being able to use public dollars for non-public schools. And those dollars that we get from our city should be used for our public schools.
One day these kids are going to be running our country. And if you're bringing them up in this horrible, just money-hungry education system, I think we're just going to continue this pattern of terrible people being in office.
It would have been nice if someone with experience in public education would have been appointed as Secretary of Education.
The DeVos family is very well known in Michigan. They pour millions of dollars into campaigning.
I have heard the number was $200 million. Does that sound in the ballpark?
Collectively, between
over
my
the years,
entire
yes.
family, that's possible.
Okay. She really is not for the average person. I don't even like to say her name.
I don't know how you can logically bring somebody in who doesn't have the qualifications and as many conflict of interests as she does, and saying that you're here to do what's best for public schools. You can't do one and say the other. It's impossible.
She is not interested in bettering the poor students. And when she talks about charter schools or anything of that nature, those schools are not being monitored the way they should be monitored.
I just think that our legislators and our leaders of our country need to refocus and rethink what they're doing. This is not a political game that we should be playing with children's lives. We have to educate our students. That is what needs to be our focus.
I think people need to have more faith and put their money behind a system which can serve students well. When we have all these other funds being diverted, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, who knows how it's going to change? And change is the only constant in life, so getting used to that is fine, but it's not always easy.